Welcome into this edition of Fire Away Friday on the Oxford Exxon podcast. Chase Parham, Neil McCready, Clark Ford studio this morning. We'll obviously talk a good bit about Mike Leach, Mississippi State, Ole Miss, Lane Kiffin, the whole deal. Plus, take your questions as we do most Fridays, especially in the football off season, especially in January when it's kind of hard to find things from time to time. So anyway, those are the topics today. As we get started, we'll let you know that every single day the Oxford Exxon is located right there on Highway 6 West. Take advantage of them for ribs, lunch specials, and much more. And with the Oxford Crystal next door, you get $150 off a steamer pack or a sack full with your basketball ticket. Ole Miss plays at home Saturday night against Arkansas. 5 o'clock for that one. And if you're in the Tupelo, Saltillo area, the new Crystal opening very soon over there. If you need employment, holler at Oxford Crystal or Oxford Exxon on the Twitter machine, and they will take care of you in that regard as well. Again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are Clark Ford's in Amory, Mississippi, 662-257-1900, 662-257-1900. Call that number, ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. Right to the bottom line, no hassle, no haggle. Corey wants to be your car guy. He wants to be your truck guy, and he will prove that to you. The service is just amazing. You get obviously a great Ford product. It's the service that really sets Corey apart from everyone else. He'll just take care of you. He wants to build a long-term relationship. You'll find out what that means when you make that call, 662-257-1900. And before we get started, I need to say that we've had guests join us throughout the week. A guest joined us for the beer garden, even though the audio was god-awful, and that was my fault.
We think we've repaired it.
We think we have found a runaround.
Oh, well, okay.
Anyway.
Clear is clear. I take clear no matter how we get it.
Those guests joined us on the Rafters hotline. Rafters is on the square in Oxford. It is a perfect place for you to hang out before the game on Saturday, after the game on Saturday. A great place to watch NFL playoffs, college basketball, lots of TV screens, the big screen on the stage. It's like a 17-foot stage. They've got drink specials. Food is fantastic. Sunday brunch begins at 10:45. Bluegrass band, $3 mimosas, $5 famous Bloody Marys, all of that at Rafters Food and Drink on the square in Oxford.
So yesterday I was doing a couple things. Well, first off, happy birthday. Sorry, it's a milestone one for you today, right?
Yep.
You haven't been dreading it or anything.
What do you do?
Well, I think say time goes. You want to hit it. I mean, the alternative's not good. So I
No.
mean, at the end of the day, you want to get there.
The alternative's a pretty big check for them, but not much for me.
Not doing much for.
No.
So mentally, though, is it anything at all? Is there something to a number mentally?
I mean, probably,
Okay.
but I don't know.
No, it's 50, not 60.
No shit. I don't know. I mean, I've tried not to get all in my head about it.
It's Friday. We try to have a good time on Fridays. I want to ask this one question, and then we're going to move on. Do you think about mortality much, just as a human, though? Are you a mortality kind of whatever?
Yeah. I mean,
because you're a pretty deep thinker. I mean,
yeah, I'm trying to say this without getting emotional, but sure, yeah. I mean, I'll tell you what I think about when I think about it. See, it already starts. I mean, I can feel it. Yeah, what I think about is, and I tell people this all the time. People ask me all the time, if you had a do-over, what would you do? I'm like, I don't know. I mean, but I do know the one thing I would do over. I would not have waited until I was 31 years old to have children.
Oh.
No question about that. If there's ever a mortality thing that I think about, it's we didn't have Carson until I was 36 years old. Carson, he's 13 today. And so, yeah, I think sometimes, when I turn 60, he'll only be 23. Yeah, I think about that. I mean, I wish we'd had kids earlier. I wish we'd had another child.
Mm-hmm.
We lost our first one, but
Right.
like a lot of people do. I mean, that's not like let's all feel sorry for. I mean, it happens. There's a lot of miscarriages. That's a huge,
much more actually occurrence than people think. Yeah,
it's a very prevalent thing. I think that probably goes undiscussed. That creates a lot of grief and things of that nature. But we were very fortunate because we got pregnant with Campbell right away. I mean, literally the first available opportunity.
Didn't have time to. Yeah.
But yeah, sure. I think about stuff like that. Yeah, no doubt. I mean, I don't sit around and think about poor me, I'm going to die soon. stuff like that.
I think it's more of, hey, this thing is finite. If there's something you want to do, if you something you want to change, do it now. Let's get moving. Don't waste years. Is more kind of what goes through my head.
Yeah,
I think more than anything else.
I don't. But no, I mean, I would feel remarkably guilty if I felt bad about turning an age today. I mean, Ed Ashoff won't get to this age.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not fair. I mean, you can look around, you can read stories. There are kids there are people on this site who have kids who are fighting for their freaking lives. So no, I mean, I'm really fortunate. I mean, I'm healthy, and my kids are healthy, and they're happy, and Laura's healthy, and I mean, life is pretty good. I mean, I don't have a lot of complaints.
And it wasn't because of your age, I don't think. I mean, I think you could tell me I'm wrong, but I don't think it was. I think it was just time period or whatever. But you kind of had your transformation at 40, 10 years ago. You lost the weight, you did a lot of things, kind of proved some things to yourself, got a little more healthy mentally, some things along those lines. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, it was about.
It was summer of 09.
2020, yeah, it's been about 11 years ago.
Was it 08? Or 09?
It was 09.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
So I was pretty fat when I got here. I was pretty fat in 09.
It was after the Super Regional in 09.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because
I covered the SEC tournament in baseball in 09 and got on a scale. I was like, whoa, this is not. I actually remember thinking, if you keep up like this, you're going to weigh 300 pounds when you're 50 years old. Mm-hmm. I do remember thinking that. And I said, nope.
That's it.
And I kind of caught it. And so no, the last 10 years of my life from a mental health standpoint, probably the healthiest 10 years of my existence. No question about that. I mean, it's the one thing that I think, and I got a text about this from a friend the other day. Sorry to get all deep. This isn't my fault. It's Chase's fault.
It's my fault.
It's Chase's fault. I was prepared to talk about Mike Leach for an hour and talk about Kevin Durant for 15 minutes and be done.
I am the captain. We're moving through.
The one thing I think this show, I had a friend that kind of chastised me a little bit nicely. He said, you guys have that discussion about your jobs are meaningless. And sometimes I do think that what we do is utterly meaningless. I mean, we write. I'm going to write about a basketball game tomorrow night that 10 years from now, no one will ever care.
In a very just straightforward way, it's kind of stupid.
It's kind of stupid. Yeah. I mean, does it really matter if the tight end from Utah comes to Ole Miss or not? I mean, not really. I mean, in the whole scheme of life, it's pretty insignificant. But we have opened up about things like mental health, and I mean, I'm sure it pisses my parents off remarkably to hear me say that, hey, I battle some depression. But I do, and you need to open up about that, I think. And I mean, I went to a therapist, and I was having just kind of, I don't know, just not even midlife stuff, just normal stuff. And just you start thinking about stuff, and you get down on yourself. And I do that a lot. And that's the one thing I think this show has done in 8 years is it's taken – for a handful of people, and if it's impacted one person, then it was worth it. It's taken that stigma off to, hey, I'm going to make a phone call, and I'm going to go see somebody, and I'm going to talk a little bit and get better. And for some people, it's 1 or 2 times to a therapist, and they feel better, and life is good. And for some people, they need to be medicated, and all of a sudden, life's a little cleaner, and you think a little clearer. And I don't know. If we've done that for people, then we've served a purpose. Through the vehicle of talking about. I mean, I had
a therapist one time tell me in the session, said, 100% of people actually need therapy, 100%. And basically they see therapy as the incongruent person seeing a little less incongruent person is all basically it is at that point. So
well, I can't remember who it was on Twitter who I follow. I think it was Bridget Fatese, who's a comedian who's really funny.
Yeah.
And she said she won't date anybody who hasn't been to therapy. And it cracked me up. I mean, I laughed when I saw it. She's really funny. But she was on the Joe Rogan show, and her background's just nightmarish. She came from a horrific kind of background, and of course uses that as a vehicle for humor. And anyway, it was. I laughed hard when I read that. Won't date anyone who hasn't been to therapy. That was funny.
Tommy, I appreciate it. I think this is a good point. What we do is not necessarily insignificant. It's just not necessary. It's a good way to put it. It's completely unnecessary. But
Yeah.
I mean, at the end of the day, you got to get through the day as best you can. So
I mean, if you think about it, what LeBron James does isn't necessary.
No,
is
not
it
at all.
necessary that people play basketball for a living? Of course not. Does he impact people's lives? Sure. So, there's a difference.
Yeah. So anyway, okay. Yesterday, I really had not heard that it was done before it basically got announced or got broken by whomever did it. Who broke the news yesterday?
Ross Dellinger.
Did he? Okay.
Yeah.
And he had been, on this podcast, been talking about Mike Leach for a while.
I mentioned, was it Mike Leach the other night? I said, hey, look, maybe it's Sarkisian unless it's the wild card of Mike Leach. I felt pretty good about, food for thought here.
Yeah.
I felt pretty good about our, quote, coverage.
Oh, God. Okay.
Because I told people it's not Napier. And then I told people I thought it might be Sarkisian. And then I said, I think it's hit a snag or something. And then I said, hey, there's a lot of Mike Leach buzz.
Yeah. A lot of stuff here. We'll unpack over the next probably half hour or so. We don't have a ton of questions. I kind of intentionally put it up late in the night or early in the morning. I put it up at like 4 a.m. this morning, so really early to not get a ton because I knew we'd talk about this for a while. Yeah, I think we are clean shaven. I shaved this morning.
Yeah, I shaved. I had the scruff going big time.
So, general first thoughts, Mike Leach to Mississippi State. It's getting their fan base excited.
Yep.
He's certainly not a wet blanket like some guys would be. He's interesting.
If the goal was a splash, they got one.
He is, as Dylan said yesterday, he's pretty much only Manhattan, Kansas away from hitting the bad college town bingo at this point. He's been to Lubbock, Pullman, and Starkville at this point.
Brandon Walker said Starkville's the most exciting town in the SEC.
Brandon did. And look, Starkville gets a bad rap. It's not as bad as it is talked about nationally, but it's in a conference with a lot of pretty good towns. So obviously it's not a top half SEC town.
No.
And it's also because when we've had this discussion, it's also when you drive in, you only go to the stadium. Like you come right off the highway, you just see nothingness. You go to the stadium.
I'm sure there's some places there. I've just never really been.
It's fine.
Yeah,
Starkville's okay. They've done a really good job with what they have to work with. They have. Now Mississippi's college town and all that crap, whatever. But
it's just funny. Like I've obviously been to Auburn a lot. I know Auburn pretty well. I've obviously been to Fayetteville a lot now. I know it well. I know Baton Rouge well. I know Oxford well. I feel like I know Athens okay. I don't.
I'll give you a hot take. Maybe not that hot. I'll take Starkville over Tuscaloosa.
Oh, you know what? I think I would too. I'm not a Tuscaloosa guy
I can't
at all.
stand Tuscaloosa.
Now the campus is beautiful.
Yeah, Bama's campus is good. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure about that. I think I would take Starkville over Tuscaloosa.
Well, I can tell you this, at the risk of alienating Alabama fans out there, if you're listening, I would feel a lot better about one of my kids going to Mississippi State than I would Alabama. Tuscaloosa scares me a little, if I'm just being honest.
I really like Auburn.
Yeah, Auburn's really nice.
I have a good time there.
Yeah.
Yeah, Acre is phenomenal. Somebody asked about Auburn restaurants.
It might be.
Really?
I'm trying to think.
I know your facial expressions. I know where you're going here.
It's top 5 restaurants I've ever eaten at, for sure.
Really?
Absolutely. Campbell and I ate there on the night before her visit there, and it was phenomenal.
I remember you telling me this.
From service
we talked about
to
this.
food to atmosphere to experience to the whole deal.
Mm-hmm.
Phenomenal.
They don't have a ton of those kind of places at all, but what they have is pretty good. Yeah.
Really, really good. Really good.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I lived there, I think I'd hang out at that bar sometimes and get an appetizer and have a drink.
Yeah.
The whole deal.
So they get their splash. He's shown that he can punch up. There's no doubt about that. He's done a pretty good job most everywhere he's been. He has beaten career winning percentages or school winning percentages everywhere he has been by far.
Absolutely.
I tell you what it is though. I told you this right before we started the podcast. If I'm Lane Kiffin, I think that's and I might eat these words. I think that's a guy I'd want you to hire at Mississippi State. Because he's never been this prolific recruiter. Now he's been in places that's impossible to recruit. We'll see what he does here. We'll see what kind of staff he puts together. We'll see how he is able to move in with Mississippi ties and all that kind of stuff. Because State still has to really recruit this state. They're not going to go national as a brand. So especially under Mike Leach.
Absolutely.
I think here's what State did. We'll see. I think they raised their floor and lowered their ceiling based off who they could hire. I don't think you're going 3-9, and I don't think you're going 10-2. I think he compressed it in the middle, where it's okay, not bad. Now, his scheme is not set up for their talent right now at all, so I don't know what that looks like from a moving around standpoint. But
not even a little.
He's done a pretty good job most places he's been with, at least recruiting wise, average quarterbacks. He's kind of developed and made those guys work. Now he has not played the levels of defense he will see week in and week out in the SEC. And traditionally, now again, his talent's been bad offensively, but he's really struggled against speed, elite defenses over the course of his career.
Who were the quarterbacks he had at Texas Tech? Was that
Graham Harold, Cliff Kingsbury, B.J.
Harold.
Simmons.
Okay. So he's had some talent.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah,
and then obviously he had, and to his credit, he saw something in Gardner Minshew that other people did not.
And Gardner is very good.
And Gardner got invited to New York. For the Heisman. I mean, it was a remarkable story, and is an NFL quarterback today, and has figured out how to market his moment here and turn it into something post football.
No doubt.
Dude is smart.
Yeah, sure.
I'll be curious to see what he does at quarterback, because so much of what he does offensively is quarterback oriented. What's going to be interesting to me is if you go back to his Texas Tech days and include his Washington State days, it's where John Cohen did him no favors if the media hold Cohen to it. Mike Leach's teams have always been soft defensively. Runs tempo, goes fast. Now, Texas Tech is hot as blue blazes, and they played on turf, and it worked. Pullman is not as hot. It's easier to pull that off in the Pac-12. I am curious to see in the SEC what it looks like when you just don't play much defense, when you're reliant on offense, and it's hot as hell on a Saturday morning at 11:30 in Auburn, Alabama.
Week in, week out, too. It's one thing to do it once. It's another to do it week in, week out.
And now, you get the schedule where you play Auburn one week and you play LSU the next week, and then you go to Knoxville. And I obviously don't have Mississippi State schedule in front of me.
But, I mean, look, dude has been a head coach since 2000. 19 seasons. 20 seasons. He's been to a bowl game all but 2, and that is when he had inherited a complete and utter train wreck in Pullman. They were awful.
Oh, I think your observation a moment ago was spot on.
And now in 18, they did a heck of a job. He went 11-2, went to the Alamo Bowl with Washington State. Frankly, wasn't crazy far from the playoff.
No.
A little help.
Probably one win.
Apple Cup.
Mm-hmm.
Texas Tech, they won 9 some. They won 8 some. They went 11-2 the year that Ole Miss beat them in the Cotton Bowl.
He did a really good job. He's listen, anybody who says, oh, this guy can't coach, that's a joke.
No.
This guy can absolutely coach.
It's just what he runs. I'm fascinated. Look, I'm fascinated. Maybe it works and whatever. What he runs works so much better in those 2 conferences than it does in the SEC, in my opinion. A true air raid, the way he runs it. I don't think he's ever had a 1,000-yard rusher in his career. He throws to set up the run for sure.
And that fan base has been conditioned to love the running game and love defense.
Win ugly, kind of. Yeah.
We're going to bloody your nose, and we're going to make the game ugly, and we're going to kind of out-physical you.
Yeah.
And I've been over there. I covered – the one that always sticks out to me is I covered Auburn in – gosh, it was the year they had Rudy Johnson and all of those cats. And they were a good football team. And they went over there to Starkville, and it was loud as hell. And I want to say it was a 2:30 game, and Mississippi State bloodied their nose early and made it a physical game and just out-physicaled a real physical Auburn team. And I remember that place was rocking, and I thought, this is the way these people like to win. This is their style. This is their identity. And Cohen talked about, we want blue-collar, physical, outwork you. And I'm like, boy, that is not what you just hired. But look.
Somebody called, I remember it might have been Wolken, might have been Wetzel, I don't know, whoever it was. I thought the analogy was really good. Cohen pulled essentially the fire drill button on the search, the fire alarm. You've always had Mike Leach over here. It was never going to be seen negatively from a public standpoint.
Right.
He's always here just lingering and waiting, and if I can't get what I need, hey, I can just grab Mike Leach and let's have some fun, see what happens.
Because we've been telling you for years, Mike Leach wants to coach in the SEC.
He would have taken the Ole Miss job when Freeze was hired.
He would have taken the Arkansas job 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, whenever the hell that was.
Mm-hmm.
I've lost track of time now.
Yeah.
Yeah, he would have taken Missouri. Jumped at it. He wanted to coach in the league. It's my understanding he wanted to coach in the league at any place not named Vanderbilt.
Well, yeah, of course. He's been at Kentucky before with Hal Mumme. That's his only SEC experience to this point. We're going to get down this road for a while, so take one break here. We'll come back and finish it. Or not finish it. Keep going. Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. You're getting local underwriting and understands your market. A leader in condo financing, a float-down option. And rates are pretty good right now. So give Jason a call, 662-234-2704, or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
Don't just accept what you see, but imagine seeing something new. Step forward and chase after a better version of yourself every day. Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen and Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative, state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. These clear aligners are the virtually invisible way to improve your smile. So call Corinth Dental today for a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. Let them show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest, no down payment financing is available. CorinthDental.com. We're also brought to you by Splinter Creek. Splinter Creek is a gated conservation community. It's located 8 miles southwest of Oxford, 75 minutes from the Memphis airport. SplinterCreekMS.com. 601-898-2772 is the number. You need to, if you're coming up for a weekend, you're thinking about moving here, you're thinking about retiring here, you really owe it to yourself to get in touch with Tom Smith Land and Home and get a tour of Splinter Creek. It's just absolutely beautiful property. If nothing else, it'll be a beautiful afternoon just kind of looking at nature. 34 lakefront lots, 2 to 25 acres each, 650 acres of lakes, pine, and hardwood forest, private roads, running, cycling, and hiking trails. The lakes are sort of the main streets of Splinter Creek. Each one has a combination of docks, floating piers, a pavilion with fire pit, so much more. SplinterCreekMS.com. Dead Soxy wants you to know they created socks that make an impact. Dead Soxy has teamed up with Vogel Alcove to help young children in the Dallas area overcome the lasting and traumatic effects of homelessness. These incredible socks were created by the very kids this program is serving. With 3 one-of-a-kind designs, each sock tells its own story. Visit deadsoxy.com. Click on the yellow banner at the top of the page to visit the collab page. 50% of all proceeds have been pledged to help break the cycle of child homelessness, extend the season of perpetual giving, support this incredible collaboration. While the promo code will not apply to the Vogel Alcove collaboration, in order to maximize the donation, remember to enjoy the 30% off all other Dead Soxy products with promo code Rebel Grove. Welcome to 2020, and as always, stay Soxy.
We got to ask this at the very beginning. Which Columbia do you prefer?
You know, I've not been to Columbia, Missouri, but one time. I like Columbia, South Carolina. Don't think I'd want to live there, but I like it. It's a cool place. You can walk around downtown. There's a lot of cool restaurants and stuff. So I like Columbia, South Carolina, but I'd like to try Como some more.
Okay.
Speaking of Como, Marcus Johnson, the former Ole Miss offensive lineman who's been on the Mississippi State staff, according to Gabe DeArmond, very likely to be the new offensive line coach at Missouri. So
that's interesting.
So good for Marcus.
That's an interesting hire.
Yeah.
So anyway, Mike Leach. Where are we going with that? Where are we at?
Well, let's look at it from the Ole Miss perspective, because I think that's most of our audience would like to talk about it from that perspective. For Mississippi State, I get it. If you wanted to splash, you got to splash. If you wanted to become more relevant in a league that is now just star-studded, you did. You're absolutely an interesting story. You are, to be fair, at SEC Media Days now, it's can't miss. No one's leaving the Mississippi State portion of the day. When in the past, when it was Joe Moorhead, it was
put you to sleep. Awful.
It won't be now. Everybody's in for that. If you're CBS, you're excited. If you're Disney, who's going to get this contract soon, you wish it could start right now. You'd write the check right now. So can we move in and start on this today?
The SEC West, Nick Saban, Gus Malzahn, Ed Orgeron, Jimbo Fisher, Lane Kiffin, Mike Leach, Sam Pittman.
Yeah, if you're Arkansas, boy.
Boy.
Prepare. It's like I need to tell Campbell, hey, you're going to get a lot of 11 a.m. games, sweetie. A lot. Or the 3 p.m.
Oh, the SEC network that goes up against the 2:30 game.
The screw it game.
Yeah. Arkansas on paper lost the coaching search season. There's no doubt.
No doubt.
Yeah,
no
they're
doubt.
the loser.
No doubt.
I think Missouri's the sneaky one. It's going to be okay. I like Drinkwitz enough.
He'll do fine.
Yeah,
it's not particularly compelling, but he'll do fine. But if you're CBS, or the people that ESPN, if you're the people that got a contract, all of a sudden a Mississippi State game, and this applies to Ole Miss too. So this is not before anybody in Starkville thinks that I'm insulting you. Quite frankly, the last couple of years, Ole Miss and Mississippi State were like, do we have to? From a network standpoint, not anymore. No, sir. It's up at the top. Can't get Bama this week. Can't get LSU this week. We'll take Ole Miss. We'll take State. We'll follow Mike Leach around for 48 hours and get some funny stuff. We'll follow the Lane Kiffin thing around and see what's up.
Yeah, you want Ole Miss or you want South Carolina? I want Ole Miss.
I want Ole Miss. You want Mississippi State or South Carolina? I want State. Give me the Pirate, at least right now while it's fresh. Now, from the Ole Miss perspective.
Yep.
I think if you – and I haven't met Lane Kiffin yet, so I'm guessing here. But I think if you offered multiple choice to Lane Kiffin and said, you got to pick a coach from Mississippi State, and here are your choices. A, Billy Napier. B, Steve Sarkisian. C, Mike Leach. Who would D be? Who was the other guy?
I mean, you can just pick whomever you want.
Oh,
Joe Judge.
Joe Judge.
That's fine.
Joe Judge. There's no doubt in my mind he would say, I'll
Mike
take
Leach.
C, Mike Leach.
Yeah.
People say, why, Neil? Well, look, Judge is a pretty brilliant football mind.
He's the head coach of the football Giants.
Head coach of an NFL team at 37 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to tip your hat to that now. I'm sorry. Say what you want.
Yeah.
Not everybody's pulling that off. Napier won 12 games at ULL. Napier
and is going to at least try to put in a system somewhat similar to yours in a way.
Oh, I'll be honest now, and I know a lot of Ole Miss people think this is hindsight. I thought Billy Napier was a real good fit for Mississippi State.
I did too. We talked about this way early before we thought he was even a thing.
Physical.
Yeah. Even when we thought Napier might have been on Ole Miss's list, we went, hey, he's a better fit at State. He's not a fit at Ole Miss. He's a fit at State.
Better fit there. Physical, blue collar, organized, coached at Clemson, coached at Alabama.
Very relatable.
Would have put together a very SEC-centric staff very quickly. Would have hit the ground running. Would have really forced Lane Kiffin to turn the screws.
Yeah.
It would have tested Lane Kiffin because I think Lane Kiffin's going to try to recruit nationally.
Yeah, with Mike Leach, Kiffin gets kind of the devil he knows. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, it's okay. I've coached against that. I mean, frankly, I think Washington State, or wasn't that the loss that got Kiffin fired at USC? Wasn't that the game that?
Ooh, I don't remember that.
Seemed like that was a loss to Mike Leach. Was the day he got fired at USC.
And then Sarkisian, I think Kiffin knows Sarkisian has, an upside.
Of course.
And they're friends, and it would have been...
Like you said, it'd be another guy that tried to recruit more nationally. Get in the game.
Yeah.
Mike Leach has never shown any propensity for liking boosters, for doing a lot of that kind of stuff. He just hasn't.
You saw him get off the plane yesterday. That's who he is.
Had his cowbell.
Yeah, did his thing.
There was no Korean marching band. It was a plus.
Yeah, no, it
was fine.
They were okay. It was fine. It was fine. That's who he would have picked. I mean, obviously, if you offered him, choice E, shut the program down and go away, that's the one he would take. But he Kiffin's going to try to recruit nationally. Now, listen, before everybody, don't judge the February 5th results. I think you had your story that you wrote on New Year's Day, whatever that day is, December the 16th, 15th, 17th, whatever it is. That's the day you can judge.
Sorry, it was Arizona State, not Washington State, but they had a loss to them as well. Anyway, go ahead.
That's the day you can judge. Kiffin's going to try to recruit nationally. I think Napier would have created some tension because I think Napier would have recruited really well in Mississippi. I do. and it would have created you're not getting that national kid, and there was a kid right down the road at Taylortown or Taylorsville or whatever that you could have got.
You can pick Tylertown or Taylorsville, either one.
There you I'm going to one day learn my Mississippi geography. You didn't take that kid at Oak Grove. You didn't take that kid at Madison Central. You instead went after that kid in Arizona, and you didn't get him. And Napier got the kid at Madison Central, and he's good. And damn it, I'm pissed. I don't think with Leach that's going to happen. I don't know what Leach is going to do.
I don't either.
And then what I'm most fascinated by, and frankly, I'm fascinated by this at Ole Miss too.
Okay.
But much more at State. When Mike Leach doesn't kiss the boosters' ass, collective ass, are they going to be as motivated to help him? They weren't particularly motivated to help Joe Moorhead.
He's got to change what he's always done. For it to work, he has to be different than what he's comfortable with, or at least what he's shown an ability to do in the past.
Yeah. How old's Mike Leach? Hey, Siri, how old is Mike Leach?
You'll need to unlock your iPhone.
It's unlocked.
I don't know Mike Leach's age.
He's 58 years old.
But I've got his contact number.
You do
She
have his
pulled up
contact
his phone
number.
Yeah, I was like,
Okay.
probably not call right now.
58 years old. And for a year, Mike Leach is going to have some pizzazz around him, or at least a year, maybe longer than that. Pizzazz around him just from a recruiting standpoint down here, because he's kind of different. A little bit. I mean, it's not an unknown thing. It's better than Joe Moorhead.
Yeah. It's gonna be fun. Like I said yesterday, I want to thank the football gods.
And maybe they're not. What's their mood going to be if he sucks next year? Because again, the system does not fit his personnel.
He will get the benefit of a transition year,
no matter what it looks like.
I think so.
No gnashing of teeth.
No, because I think they will comfort themselves with what will be an accurate comment.
This schedule,
they'll say we would have sucked with Moorhead too.
This schedule for State, the way they do a lot of their non-conference, where they really try to stack up wins, is about as tough as it can get. Okay, just run through this real quick.
Okay,
New Mexico, okay, win. They go to NC State next year, second game of the season.
It's very winnable.
It's very, very winnable. My point being that it's not a complete gimme like they've had a lot of times in the past. They will have to play over there. They get Arkansas, they get Tulane, they get A&M. First five. They actually have a chance to get off to a pretty good start. Now, I don't think they're going to beat A&M.
Tulane
is no. That's a losable game.
Damn losable.
Yeah.
Because if you're Willie Fritz, a game like that, now let's be real. If you're Willie Fritz, a game like that, you're gonna turn it up a little.
Yeah.
Hey, y'all didn't even call me.
But I'll give them 3-2 after 5.
Okay.
Is that fair?
Sure.
I'll give them New Mexico, NC State, and then just pick another one out of all that mess. But I'm going to say they lose 2 of them for the heck of it.
I'm cool.
They get a bye week. This is the second half of their schedule.
Okay.
Alabama.
Loss.
LSU.
Loss.
Auburn.
Loss.
Missouri. Who knows? At home.
Okay.
At Kentucky.
Mm-mm.
That's a loss.
Loss.
At Alabama A&M at Ole Miss.
Alabama A&M?
Yeah, and then at Ole Miss.
At Ole Miss.
That's a really tough last 5 or 6 there where...
Well, and that's what's going to be interesting with both, with him, because he's never really experienced it since the Kentucky days, and it's different now. Kiffin knows it because he's been at Alabama. This league, it'll wear you down. It'll get you.
You say the Missouri game's a win. And again, we're just podcasting at this point, whatever. It is coming straight after that stretch, though. In 3 straight weeks of Alabama, LSU, and Auburn, you're going to be beat to hell.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah, and Missouri's going to have you circled.
Because they need that one for 6.
Yeah. New coach, all that stuff. Sure.
Yeah, I'm not saying they're going to turn on him. A lot of times, you'd like to get a little momentum in that year one, and the way State's thing is set up, I don't see that here.
Now, in fairness, Kiffin faces a very similar deal, too.
No doubt.
He gets Baylor, and then he gets Southeast Missouri or whatnot.
He does.
And it's Auburn, LSU, Alabama, boom, boom, boom.
I guess my point is with a first-year coach, you're going to hold your team together. I'd like it to lighten up on the back half versus the be tough
No
on the
doubt.
front half.
Yeah, Kiffin gets the benefit of a lighter back half.
Yeah, Kiffin gets the benefit if he could run through even those last 3 to get to 6-6 or
Sure.
whatever.
Sure.
Suddenly you look like Newt Rockney. Hey, they got us in a bowl. Look at that hot streak at the end. We're
Yeah.
going recruiting. Here we go. Let's
Sure.
move.
Sure.
There's a little bit of that going on at that point.
Sure.
So
How do you think the kids at State react to Leach? Especially like running backs and stuff.
I'm a running back, and he doesn't have the wide receivers that he would like. They're not really set up for that.
I don't know if he's the quarterback. It's not Schrader's game. Air raid's not his deal.
He might play that freshman, that Rogers kid that he recruited out to Pullman that didn't get.
It's true.
Yeah, there's a quarterback on the roster that he recruited.
Could be all new quarterbacks in Mississippi.
A lot of quarterbacks.
It could all be different.
Who are you thinking of?
Oh, I don't know.
The one I mentioned to you the other day?
I wouldn't be stunned.
Oh, God. You got a lot going on there.
I don't know what kind of access we're going to get in February and March or whenever they start. I guess they'll start in March because
Yeah, if I'm Kylan Hill, I want nothing to do with this team. I'm out.
I'm out.
Peace.
Going pro.
Yeah.
Of course, I would have said that anyway.
Yeah, I'll deal with whatever's going on from a draft standpoint.
Because if you're Kylan Hill, let's use him as an example.
Real quick on the stream, Michael, what was the tweet from his former running back? I did not see this. Go ahead.
Oh, the tweet from the former running back is, well, at least we'll run the ball now.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he was like a smiley face happy.
Oh, okay.
If you're Kylan Hill, you're probably, what, a 3rd round pick? 4th round pick?
He's a good back. It's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
You're probably not changing that next year. You are what you are. Go ahead and get your cash. Get in the league.
Lane welcomed him to Mississippi yesterday. Buddies.
Well, I will say this. I do think between the two of them,
yeah.
they're going to from a top down. And I thought Matt Luke and Joe Moorhead did some of this.
They did.
I think they'll dial the rhetoric down even more.
It's got a chance to just be fun. Just be fun.
Just be a fun game.
Yeah. Calm down.
I know people like the whole fighting and all that stuff.
It does
It's
no
a
one any
terrible
good.
look.
Well, it just does nobody any good. Forget look. It's tangibly, it's a negative.
Yeah, it gets you made fun of.
You're putting too much into it.
Instead
One of
of
12.
being made fun of, you can be fun. Which you pick. I would pick being fun all day over being made fun of. Fun game. People are going to have their Thanksgiving dinner, and now they're going to sit down and go, hey,
now they're in.
This is going to be fun.
Mike Leach, Lane Kiffin.
I mean, if you're ESPN, and I think they have that game, don't you want to mic up Mike Leach? And if you're Mike Leach, yeah, sure, why not? Mic him up. Let's have some fun. Make it a fun game. Got a chance to be a fun game. Needs to be a fun game. Mississippi's not a violent place. I mean, it's not. People are nice here. It's the hospitality state. Yet that game rolls around and it's like World War VII. It doesn't need to be that way. It doesn't. I mean,
We haven't covered one in a while where you're not going, oh, my God, somebody might get shanked in this place.
I know. Where it's like, I remember walking into Starkville that day, Dak Prescott's last game.
15.
I mean, I remember telling
14
you.
and 15. You walked into the stadium and the air was being sucked out of it. Like you went, oh, my
Like,
God.
I've never once felt threatened someplace except there that day.
Even the security guards, everybody was kind of hyped up.
Everybody was intense.
Yeah, because like in 14, back here, I technically walked through the wrong gate or whatever, but the security guard was like all amped up about it. I think he was nervous because of what all was coming on, and I kind of snapped back at him. We had a little bit of a thing or whatever, but it was right there by the elevator walking into Vaught Hemingway, and you know how like you got the two sides to the little chain link fence or whatever.
Yeah.
I just walked in the other one. He's like, whoa, no, around. I'm like,
Hold
it's
up.
2 feet to the same spot. No, around this way. And he's like, I was like, oh, okay. Like, and I said something very smart, I see, and we moved on with our day. But
Which year was it? Was in Baton Rouge? It was the year that Ole Miss lost.
it was
down
14.
there.
Yeah,
And it was
yeah.
a zoo down there, and that Louisiana State trooper wanted to fight me, and all I was trying to do was get into the media room. I wasn't even doing. I literally was doing nothing. He lost it.
little high strung.
Super high strung. I think he had his share of drunks by that time.
Well, I mean, David Brandt and I in 08 got to watch the Arkansas video guy swing at Chuck that night. So, we've had a lot of instances over the course of that one.
No habla inglés.
Michael Orr saved him from going to jail, I'm pretty sure, because it was really, really funny. David and I are standing there, and Chuck had walked out on the field, and he was, not really making fun, I was telling you what happened. I mean, it is what it is. And he was like giving kind of like a couple, like, not like over or whatever, but some fives to some Ole Miss players walking off the field. And so this Arkansas video guy takes offense to it and walks over and he throws punches. And Chuck kind of ducks, and he knocks Chuck's hat off, and he falls to the ground or whatever, and the cops come out, and they're grabbing him or whatever. And they're about to take them both wherever the hell they took them, because I think he ended up going to jail, having to go to jail for a minute.
Yeah.
And Michael Orr looks at the cop and goes, no, it was that guy. Let Chuck go, grabbed him, and took off. Because Michael Orr said so. I was like, all right, there you go. It was whatever. Yeah, because punches started being flying, and David looks over at me like, what the hell? Like, it's crazy. So anyway, yeah, that was different time. That's when the Arkansas fans were throwing cups of urine at us. Remember, we were walking down the sideline right there?
Yes, I remember.
Speaking of scary places, that's number one.
You know what?
That's
particular
number one.
day was number one.
Yeah, not a doubt in my mind.
It was hostile.
It was bad. Ole Miss got that big lead, and they got pissed. Because
Yeah.
Ole Miss was up by 14 or 17 in the fourth quarter.
And
Now they came back.
Arkansas
it was a close
came
game,
back and had
but
a shot late.
yeah. They kept throwing like Hail Marys getting called. But
yeah, I've never been happier to get the hell out of a stadium.
no, that was a weird place that night.
And ever since then, it's like really tame. But that time, whew. Houston wasn't. There's a lot of revision, and everyone does revisionist history. Don't get me wrong, but Arkansas has really revised some history with Houston Nutt.
Mm-hmm.
They've let time sort of soothe those wounds, and now he's welcomed. Back then, he
Well,
was
as time
not
goes
welcomed.
on, you go, okay, got won the West 3 times, got to Atlanta twice. It's all right.
They hated his ass in 2008.
Oh,
Hated him.
well, that was right after the whole deal. I mean, yeah, that was
Kevin Durant returns to Oklahoma City
it wasn't
kind of
good.
deal.
So, Tyson Drugs on the Square in Holly Springs, G&M Pharmacy on South Lamar in Oxford. Take advantage of their free delivery to your home or workplace. They offer MedSync to make sure you get the prescriptions you need when you need them. They just fill them once a month, all at the same time to make it easy on you. They also have Right Way Meds to individually package your medication, time and date when you need it. Make it easy on you there as well. 662-236-2222.
Friends at Blue Delta Jeans want to give a big thank you to all listeners of the Oxford Exxon podcast for their incredible support in 2019. They're thrilled to move into 2020 with the Rebel Grove community. SEC basketball is about to tip off in Oxford. And as you make your way into Oxford to cheer on Kermit and the Ole Miss basketball team, don't forget to stop by the Blue Delta Jeans studio to check out Blue Delta's awesome jeans, cotton pants, chinos, and even the stretch corduroy fabrics for the winter. The Oxford studio is open 10 to 6 every day except Sunday. But if you need an after-hours fitting, don't hesitate to reach out to Blue Delta Jeans on social media or at info@bluedeltajeans.com to get your custom fitting scheduled. Picks are up yesterday, the NFL games and Monday's championship game. Those are brought to you by Southern Craft Stove and Tap. Southern Craft Stove and Tap has your pregame and pre-concert needs covered. So whether you're headed to Oxford for the Rebels for the SEC basketball slate, or to Tupelo for one of the many events like Miranda Lambert on January the 16th, make sure that you get your event started off right with a visit to Southern Craft. Conveniently located off Highway 7 and Sisk Avenue in Oxford and at 205 East Troy Street in Tupelo, Southern Craft has all your Southern favorites ready to serve your hunger needs. Or drop in and enjoy a curated cocktail or one of their many craft beers on tap. Also, don't forget to ask about their banquet room for private dining or to have all of your favorites catered for any occasion from office to private event. It's now available in both locations at Southern Craft Stove and Tap. We're also brought to you by Nest and Wild. Sleep better with a Nest and Wild mattress. Nest and Wild is a Mississippi-based mattress company making a high-quality mattress delivered right to your door. They make buying a new mattress easy. Every Nest and Wild mattress is 1 foot thick, giving you comfort and support that will last. A lot of online brands sell an 8-inch or 10-inch mattress with less support and durability, but from the twin size to the California King, every Nest and Wild mattress is 1 foot thick. They're 100% American-made. The pricing's competitive, and with the podcast discount, it's even better. Also, you can fight cancer in your sleep. with Nest and Wild because they've partnered with former Major League pitcher Jason Mott's foundation in the fight against cancer. A portion of every mattress sold goes back to Jason's charity. It's a no-risk decision. Nest and Wild believes in their product so much they are offering a 99-night trial on every mattress, so try it out. Sleep on it for 99 nights, and if you don't like it, you can return it. nestandwild.com. Order your mattress. Use the podcast code REBEL20 and get 20% off your purchase. Your mattress will arrive at your door in 3 to 5 days. My post-game columns in football season and this podcast are also sponsored by Pinnacle Trust. Pinnacle Trust based in Madison, Mississippi. They represent clients in more than 20 states, have advisors in multiple states as well. Founded in 1997, Pinnacle Trust provides detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and so much more. At Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions are made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. To learn more, go to pintrust.com. That's PINN trust.com. Mention you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast. You get 10% off your first year's fee.
I give John Cohen credit for at least staying with message. You see his quote? We know his quote beforehand, but he actually called Mike Leach blue collar.
Ooh.
Reading here, Paul Lucas from Uniwatch is complaining about the word blue collar as describing a football coach in general, but whatever, that's not really my point.
Okay.
Cohen's quote, Mike Leach is a proven winner who's established a culture of excellence for nearly 2 decades as a head coach, an offensive genius and 2-time National Coach of the Year, as a track record of building programs to national prominence with accountability and a blue-collar approach. We were thrilled to welcome him and his family to Mississippi State and look forward to watching blah, 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 blah,
Yeah,
blah.
I mean, whatever you got to do. Messaging.
It's complete.
Come on. Come on. But whatever.
Well, it doesn't matter, but
Right.
no, not even a little bit, actually.
We know what Kiffin does for tickets in Oxford. He's going to make them very difficult to get. What does Leach do for tickets? I mean,
It stabilizes it, helps it. Yeah, no doubt.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an increase. Yeah,
it's good for the state.
As Andy Staples says, I get that ADs and coaches love to use the phrase blue collar, but if we're putting it in business terms, Leach is probably the coaching version of a board shorts to work Silicon Valley disruptor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's more.
Come on, dude lives in Key West.
Yeah, he's.
Yeah, we're not that. No one says blue collar Key West. Those do not go together.
Yeah, Leach is not going through some coal mines or into into industrial Pittsburgh.
No, come on. Is there a coach in the SEC you would call blue collar?
Not much.
Stoops.
I think so. The way that this is supposed to be from a connotation standpoint, yes, Stoops
Sam
qualifies.
Pittman probably.
Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah.
Ed Orgeron. I know they've changed their style of play, but
The problem with him is it's hard to make that argument when you're in the penthouse. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's kind of Sanford's son, a little like we're the Jeffersons. I mean, we're kind of moving on up a little bit.
Yeah, no
like
doubt.
it's a little bit of that is the problem with that.
George and Wheezy.
Yeah. I'm just saying, like it. But I mean, you call Wisconsin, Iowa, from a connotation that we're
Going
talking
back
about.
off my Hawkeyes.
I'm just saying. But it would. It's a blue collar program. Because frankly, here's the thing. A lot of times, again, football terms, whatever. This is kind of stupid. I don't know what we're talking about. I'm gonna get to questions in a second.
Okay.
But it kind of means you don't recruit well.
That's exactly what it means.
Blue collar kind of means I'm trying to take the less of the Jimmies and the less of the Joes and make it work.
It's like when Matt Luke used to use that term all the time. I wanted to go, do you ever walk around your campus? Because they ain't nothing blue collar. And look, I don't mean this negatively. I went to Ole Miss too. I mean this no negative. But I don't think Ole Miss and think immediately blue collar.
Well, it did not resonate with its fan base at all. That went
No. The messaging people failed Matt Luke. And he needed help.
From
there.
that to Mississippi Made to the
That
whole
was
deal.
terrible.
Yeah.
I always said about Mississippi Made, they were going to move on. I'm done. The whole Mississippi Made thing, if I'm a kid from Georgia.
Well, no, you phrase again, connotation. You do it differently. I mean, built by Bama doesn't mean everybody's from Alabama. You go Mississippi Made, meaning Ole Miss is making you into an NFL player. That should have been the connotation to Mississippi Made. Yeah, whatever. But that's my point. Like
Ole Miss Made.
Yeah, sure.
Mississippi Made implies we're recruiting a bunch of Mississippi kids.
Yeah. Which
Built by Bama says you come to Alabama, we're going to turn you into a first-round pick.
Yeah, of course.
It's brilliant.
Yeah, it's good. It's a great phrase.
Yeah, it's great. Give them credit.
Yeah. Ole Miss made would work. Good.
Yeah, Ole
Move
Miss
on.
made. Mississippi made implies something completely different.
Yeah.
Well, it means made here. Well, you guys emphatically tell people not to call you Mississippi. Like on the media release, every week, here's what's acceptable, here's not. And they put an X through Mississippi.
Yeah.
So Mississippi made does not imply made at the University of Mississippi. It was dumb.
Let's see. We jump into questions. Got a bourbon one off the top from Steve. Pappy 15, Pappy 20, William LaRue Weller, and George T. Stagg rank them.
I don't know if I've ever had any of them. Didn't I have one of them?
No, it was a 10 or a 12 I brought in that day. William LaRue Weller's number one. It's not close. Stagg changes a little bit by the year. I'll go 20, Stagg 15, which is really surprising because I think Steve for sure likes maybe the 15 better than any of those. But yeah, that's what we'll go. We'll go with WLW 20, Stagg 15. We'll go with that. Let's see. How would you have graded it if Ole Miss would have hired Leach? B minus.
Yeah, I would have wondered about fit.
I just don't think the ceiling is overly high for whatever reason. He can prove me wrong, but in the SEC, you are seeing faster, more disruptive defensive fronts than you are week in and week out in those two other conferences. I think that's a huge deal here. It's got to kind of prove it a little bit to me. I just don't know that you can not run the football.
Yeah.
Is he going to change his offense?
I think Ole Miss people would lose their minds at the defense lacks mentality.
Oh, and frankly, if it doesn't work offensively, it looks like Phil Longo. So you're going to get some PTSD too if it was Ole Miss.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of what – it's a version of that.
Phil Longo had DK Metcalf, A.J. Brown, and Dawson Knight. Never mind.
Yeah, but he had Wesley McGriff too.
He did.
Yeah. Now, into Wesley's defense, which there's not a whole lot, but – and he said this every week in the press conference, those two did not go together in any stretch of the imagination from how they schemed anything. I mean, Wesley was mad every single Monday because they ran 85 plays the weekend before.
It's legitimate.
Yeah. He kept talking about, well, we're out there.
You know we're thin. You know we have no linebackers, and yet you guys are sprinting from the get-go.
Yeah.
You're trying to run a marathon at a sprint pace.
Mm-hmm. I don't know the differences in Leach's and Longo's offenses. In the past, Longo has tried to run the football and been a little better about adapting to personnel than Leach.
Leach is air raid, baby.
Leach adapts personnel to him. I think Longo did do a better job of adapting personnel to his system to personnel.
Yeah.
I mean, because Longo had that year at Sam Houston State where they ran the crap out of it.
Yeah.
Leach has never had that in his history where he's run the ball like that.
No, they throw it.
Yeah. Oh, I'll have to think about this one. Let me come back to it. It might even be a Monday thing. Some of the best movies you saw in the last decade. I'll have to think about it.
Best movies?
In the last decade, though. I mean,
I don't know.
Boyhood tops it for Mr. McCready.
No. God, that movie depressed me so bad.
It's such a good movie, though.
Yeah.
It's such a good movie.
Maybe it just caught me at the wrong time.
Well, now you had to be in a.
I'll have to think about it, about movies. One day on a really slow day, we'll talk.
I've got a rolling. We won't do this right now unless I just see some that stick out. I've got a 50 best movies from Rolling Stone of the decade. Let's just go down to see what the top 10 is real quick. We'll see what they say. Give me 1 second. Down to 15, 14, 13, 12, 11, 10. Number 10, Carol. I've never seen it. Number 9, Mad Max Fury Road. Not my kind of movie, but fine. Roma, 2018. The Master. Number 7. I'm realizing I've never seen most of these movies. Get Out, number 5. That was a crazy-ass movie.
I hadn't seen it.
You know, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's crazy. Boyhood makes it at number 4, Mr. McCready.
Good for
number
them.
4,
Good
Boyhood.
For it. Good for it.
Yeah. Let's see what it says about it. But this chronicle of marking the milestones of American adolescence via random assortment of moments, some minuscule, others monumental, both milks its central gimmick for all it's worth and transcends it. Spend all those rapidly passing years with Coltrane's every teen, as well as his screen family, blah, 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 blah. Holy Motors, number 3, never seen it. The Social Network comes in at number 2.
Never saw
The
it.
Mark Zuckerberg Facebook movie.
Never saw it.
Really? And they go number 1 with Moonlight. I'm not overly shocked by that.
That was good.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Profound.
No. The Revenant bored me to tears.
Didn't see it.
Do you not?
I'm terrible about movies, man.
Didn't need Leo and the Bear for an hour.
No. Oh, that one. No, I never saw it.
Yeah. Let's see. Would you rather go to dinner with Freeze or live through the draft night Tunsil thing again?
I'd live through the draft night Tunsil thing again because I would turn my phone off. I'd go to a bar in Chicago and get drunk.
Would you?
Yep. I'd realize this is out of my control.
You'd do that? Just go to Girl House for an hour?
No.
Seems like a lot of work instead of just going to get dinner.
I don't know. I'd go to a bar in Chicago without my phone and order a few drinks, come back, go to bed, wake up the next morning and deal with it because the fallout would have been exactly the same.
Well, yeah, there was nothing you could do about it. I mean, at all.
No.
I don't know that I have a favorite fictional professor or teacher. I don't know. I think about that.
The guy in was it Good Will Hunting? Was it Robin Williams' character?
Yeah. No, you're thinking of Dead Poets Society.
Dead Poets Society.
Yeah, that's what you're thinking.
Wasn't there a teacher in Good Will Hunting?
Yeah. But I thought you were talking about Dead Poets Society. Are you not?
I don't know.
Okay.
I liked both of those movies.
Yeah, either one. That's both good. Yes, that's 2 good ones.
Good movies.
The teacher Kevin had a crush on in Wonder Years. What was her name?
I can't remember. That's good.
Her. Yeah, maybe.
Teacher from Varsity Blues. Yeah.
Yeah. That's pretty good. Yeah. I'll play along there. Let's see. Does Tim Moko finally arrive at the plate next year? Ole Miss needs him to. He's going to get a lot of opportunities. I thought he finished the year pretty well. A guy that's kind of struggled with confidence coming in. I mean, he came in as Ole Miss's top position player in that class. Immediately got beat out by Tyler Keenan at third base. Didn't find his footing as a freshman. Last year, I think he started 0 for 21 or 0 for 22 before he hit a home run at Tulane. Just hasn't kind of been able to get into a rhythm or get some early confidence to see what's up. And it's time to move. Ole Miss needs him. He needs Ole Miss right now. So if it's going to happen, this is it. Because look, I've got a couple question marks on this baseball team. Outfield is number 1, and it's not close. So if you could believe in Elko, believe in somebody to put in a corner, it would really help my feelings about this group as they're getting started. Because right now, it's just a lot of question marks. Not necessarily bad, not a guarantee it's bad, but there's nothing you can 100% say, yeah, that's going to work out there, which is a problem.
You're
You're probably moving an infielder back to outfield for center field again. They've done a good job of making that work, but it's got to work.
Well, I don't understand because the entire football season, everyone said that Jerry and Ely and John Rice Plumlee were starting outfielders. There's only one spot left. Are they playing 4 outfielders? What's the deal?
They will get an opportunity to play. That is correct.
But don't beat around the bush. I mean, there's 3 outfield spots.
There are
right?
3 outfield
spots. So there's
spots.
2 right there. So why is outfield a problem?
Because I'm not guaranteeing that either one of those guys are going to be out there the first day. Yes, that is.
So confused. If the SEC network said they are,
did.
They are.
They did.
So moving an infielder out there, you already have Plumlee and Ely.
That's 3.
Outfield's done.
If Ole Miss goes 8-4 next year, what are the wins?
Well, it's easier to do the losses. The losses would be, if they win. If you told me 8-4, I would say the losses were Alabama, LSU, Florida.
Yeah, and then pick one.
Well, I won't do the cop out. I would say Alabama, LSU, Florida, and I guess I'd say Auburn. I think they could beat Baylor.
It's Auburn or A&M because it's in College Station. I think A&M's got to be a win if you're getting 8-4, but I'm just saying that would be what you would be considering.
Yeah.
Because, see, to get 8-4, I think you need a pretty good start. I think you got to beat Baylor. I don't think you can get to 8 without Baylor.
No, absolutely.
So it's Auburn or A&M is the other loss.
Yeah.
And I don't like it, frankly, it's A&M because I don't like starting 1-4 and then trying to get to 8-4.
Right.
I think you got to beat Auburn, you got to get to 2 and whatever, and then lose to A&M,
and then get on a roll
going home.
Yeah.
Because that would be still they'd be losing to A&M, then winning 3 in a row, which I think they've got to win those 3 in a row no matter what at the end of the year. They've got Arkansas, Georgia Southern, and State the last 3 games of the season. Those have to be 3 wins.
Yeah.
UConn's a win 4. Vanderbilt's a win 5. Southeast Missouri's a win 6. You're picking 2 more. It's Baylor and Auburn, in my opinion.
I think you're probably right.
Yeah, I think that's how I would do it if you said you had to get them to 8 and 4.
Because LSU's down there. It's tough.
Yeah, I just don't see that.
Alabama's going to be tough, of course.
Yeah. Yeah, the rivalry is going to get toned down. There's no doubt. It's already been toned down to an extent, but these two guys are going to kind of make fun. They're going to actually, because they have some personality. I mean, nothing against Matt or Moorhead, but they never were able to have fun with it. It was never a joke. It was never whatever. I think you can
it was so you could feel Matt would walk in the room on Monday of Egg Bowl week, and there was this intensity that just was burning, and it's like, dude.
Yeah, he took it so seriously.
It just meant too much,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way. Chase knows I've been consistent on this for years. For Ole Miss to maximize ceilings and floors, for Ole Miss to approach its ceiling, the Mississippi State game has to just be a game that, hey, we know we got to take it seriously. We know we got to be dialed in, but if we do, we win. It's got to be that approach.
Mm-hmm.
In much the same way Vanderbilt has to become that game.
It's important because on our path to getting where we want to go, it has to be a win.
Yes. Because you're never, even at your ceiling, be careful here because I don't want to make people mad. At your ceiling at Ole Miss, you're never going to approach a season and go, Alabama, W. LSU, W. No. At your ceiling, those are going to be fistfights. Those are going to be dramatic games that you remember for years. You know what I mean? At your ceiling, you're never going to go into a game against Florida and go, that's a win. We got this. No. At your ceiling, when Florida comes to town, you say, we're not scared. Let's play.
But at your ceiling, you really, frankly, need 7. You need the 4 non-cons, State, Vanderbilt, and Arkansas.
Yes.
And go, hey, we got 7. Now let's figure out how we do the rest of this thing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Period. Because at your floor, the damn Vanderbilt games and Mississippi State games are fistfights.
Mm-hmm.
As that you've seen, because you're at the floor right now.
Neil, if you had to set odds on whether Peter and Kelly hooked up before the show started, what would the odds be? They felt overwhelming based off the body language the other night. I will say that. I saw that.
My guess is that if they make it to the fantasy suite, it won't be the first time.
You think that's a valid thought?
Yep.
They seem pretty chummy.
Peter doesn't seem like the type to take it particularly slow. Do I even want to know?
Somebody was asking for a recommendation for a state media person to contact for a radio show. It took me a second. It's kind of like a puppy for a second. I did
tell. I don't mind saying this. I told John Tallman yesterday, who's our boss at Rivals. I said, if there was ever a time to put a young person on that site and do it the right way and see what happens, it's now.
Yeah, you get Mike Leach.
I don't think Mike Leach is going to love the whole Steve Robertson, Homery type thingy. I don't think that's going to be his cup of tea.
A state site that was kind of valid would help us. I mean, there's a lot of things we could get out of that we just don't get. So
I told him I would help.
Yeah.
If, I mean, I'm not going over there to cover them, but I would
No press
help.
conference today.
Is the press conference today?
No,
I'm not going to a press conference.
Yeah. Take our last break and tell you about Mastercut's Lawn and Landscape, premier lawn care throughout northern Mississippi, and you can definitely get that as the temperatures rise. But they also build custom playgrounds, retaining walls, pool decks, outdoor living spaces with paver patios, forestry mulching, and more. Go mastercuts.com on the internet or 662-607-7773. Again, that's gomastercuts.com.
A podcast also brought to you in part by the Westin Jackson. You can restore serenity to your soul at Soul Spa, the ultimate luxury spa experience in downtown Jackson, right there in the Westin Jackson. And then you can head over to Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro, sip on a creative craft cocktail, enjoy their curated wine list. It's open for breakfast, lunch, dinner, and Sunday brunch. It's a fantastic fare, great drinks. You'll love it. It's a fantastic place to spend your evening. So gather at Estelle in the Westin Jackson tonight. We're also brought to you by John Edwards of Regency Travel Incorporated in Memphis. Whatever you're thinking of for like the summer or whatnot, golf trip to the Caribbean, a resort, whatever the case may be, get in touch with John. He's part of Virtuoso. It's a worldwide network of travel partners that allows John to supply his clients with added values, unique benefits that are simply not available to other travelers. What you do is you give him a call, you give him an email, you give him some parameters. Most importantly, you give him a budget. Tell him what you're looking to do, what you want to get out of the trip, and then sit back. You don't have to peruse the internet and worry about whether something's legitimate or not. He'll give you options that you could not have come up with on your own. And no, you don't have to live in or near Memphis to take advantage of his services. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. It's also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, look no further than Grenada Nissan. They have a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. Go in, tell Gene and Sandy and the people there at Grenada Nissan that you heard about the dealership here on the podcast or at rebelgrove.com. You'll get Rebel savings on top of the already great deals at Grenada Nissan. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB gives you the comfort of home, all the benefits the big mega banks provide, all the technology and products you can want, all with a personal touch. When you call OUB, you speak directly with a live person, no 10 buttons to push, no 5-minute wait. What you get is Kasasa. It's the absolute best cash checking account. And with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. OUB also offers online bill pay and mobile check deposit using its online app. To learn more, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured.
So I just went over to, because I was curious, went over to the Baylor site to see what they have as possible coaching options. Obviously, Ole Miss opens with Baylor in September. The candidates they list is there's at least a good chance of Baylor hiring them. Joey McGuire, the interim head coach, he mostly had a lot of high school experience more than anything else. Sonny Dykes at SMU on the list. Josh Heupel, UFC head coach. Actually says that he is the very good, has the best chances for him other than anybody else at the moment.
Heupel.
Yeah. Says not good on Billy Napier.
Wonder what his deal is. Boy, if there's one guy that out of this whole coaching cycle is now mysterious, it's Billy Napier. I'm intrigued. Like, what's up? Because I know money's not everything in life. I get it. I'm not saying it is. But
getting Brinks trucks thrown at him.
Most people, if I offer you a 400% raise, okay? I offer you a 400% raise, you're at least listening. Right? I mean, I know what I make today. So if someone comes to me and says, "Hey, Neil, I want you to do the same job covering fill in the blank. Oregon. And we're going to offer you 4 times what you make today." Am I going to have some reservations? Well, sure. But am I making the trip to Oregon to
at least look at the place? Yeah.
Damn right. Right? 4 times?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like Michael's like, "See y'all, Oregon, here I come." I mean, there'd have to be. I mean, I can imagine Caroline, the tears and stuff, and I would just say, "Sweetheart, I'll be able to buy you some friends. They got dance teams in Eugene."
Corey says, "Offer me 400%. I'm at your service." Yeah, there's some truth to that.
Well, this guy, in all seriousness, guys, this guy turned down an opportunity to get paid 4 times what he's making today.
Mm-hmm.
Do we know Leach's salary?
Not yet.
State?
I think they're putting it out today.
Okay.
I haven't seen that yet. What's your guess? 4?
4.
Okay. That's my guess too.
Ed Phillips in the
live stream.
Chat live stream, he says, "Is he holding out for something in particular? Maybe South Carolina?" I have heard that, Ed, but I don't know. I have heard that. I don't know how valid that is. Here's my only thing and I'm going to be careful here because you never know when you're having to cover another coaching search. I don't know what his representation is. My understanding going into the week was it was Pete Roussel. I don't know if it still is or isn't. If he's going to an SEC gig, he's got to really start thinking about his representation.
Yeah. What do you think the punishment should be for the Astros and Red Sox?
Severe. I do. Integrity of the game. If you're a fan, are you going to a game if you think it's fixed?
No, less likely. To get invested for sure. Yeah.
Sure. Well,
100%.
you want fans to be invested.
Yeah.
I'm not going if I think it's fixed.
No, that'll create apathy.
It has to be severe. They have to punish them with draft picks. They have to significant fines. I think front office people have to be suspended. The people who organized have to be terminated in all likelihood. You have to take away international draft pick slots. You have to hurt them at the pocketbook, and you have to hurt their organization.
Mm-hmm.
Don't you agree?
Yeah, no, I'm good. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, I know there are different times, but it's clear that AK tried to recruit elite prospects, had to stop because he felt it was not fruitful and consequently tried to go international and then transfers. Really want Kermit to keep chipping away at blue chips, but do you think this season is discouraging from going big game hunting? The season is not.
No.
It's all about recruiting. Are you getting them or are you not getting them? The season is relevant.
Yeah. I don't know that he's discouraged at this point. It took Andy a long time to get discouraged. Frankly, it took Andy the Johnny O'Brien.
It was that year.
Kai Madden.
Andre
Hollins year where he just goes, screw it.
Yeah.
I mean, this doesn't work. And even then he tried on the Newman kid. They just it wasn't there.
Did Ole Miss win the coaching search season?
Yes.
Up there, yeah, for sure.
Yes. Went from being an afterthought.
If I'm a fan of a program, Ole Miss and Florida State are the two where I go, okay, I feel pretty good about how it ended up.
And I'd pick Ole Miss before I'd pick Florida State.
Yeah, it was a much bigger deal.
Went from being an afterthought to very relevant. Went from recruiting a lot of 3-star kids, sort of hoping that you could turn it into something, to, hey, we're going to go out and chase the big kids. We'll see what happens. Now, look, winning the coaching search does not always correlate to winning on the field.
Mm-hmm. Wanted Arkansas decide to go with Pittman because they had a disaster of a search. No one could get along. Nobody could be the point man to it. And they ended up freaking out, hiring a guy, then going, hey, if we surround him with a great staff, maybe this thing works.
And they also had a grassroots campaign of former players and such who said, hey, this guy's great.
Yeah.
He's a great offensive line coach. He's great to his players. He's a great recruiter, blah, blah, blah. He deserves a shot. And Arkansas said, screw it. Okay. They couldn't get all on board to get Kiffin, and then once Ole Miss got involved, it didn't matter anymore. He wanted Ole Miss over Arkansas. They couldn't get Napier to take their call. Again, I'm blown. The Billy Napier thing, man. I mean, I'm trying not to get distracted, but just so people wonder, like, what's he thinking about? In my head, I'm literally doing mental gymnastics on what kept Billy Napier, not from Mississippi State, but Billy Napier blew Ole Miss off too. He blew off Arkansas. He blew off Missouri. To stay at Louisiana Lafayette. I mean, that place where you had the breakfast, it must be.
It is really good.
I mean, they make waffles everywhere, dude.
Well, I told you, it took like 3 days to get to let the staff know, hey, we're from Mississippi, but we're not from that Mississippi. I know y'all had a bad weekend with those guys last week. Because I'm telling you, they bristled. We walked in that first day, and we're like, hey, there's like 8 of us. We're like just kind of hanging out. It's all good. And sure enough, she looked at it and she goes, are y'all from Mississippi? And we're like, whoa, like, what?
A different Mississippi.
Well, that's exactly what it was. I remember I think it was like Jeffrey. He goes, yeah, we're from Mississippi, but not that Mississippi. And all of a sudden, like 25 minutes later, we're ordering some alcohol and having a big breakfast, and they were good the rest of the week. But it did. It took a second. We're like, whoa, because I mean, that was a big deal that week.
Y'all needed to order some mimosas and not. We would all like a sweet tea, please.
Oh no! It was like, okay.
I think they would have been like, oh god.
No, the first night. I mean, the first morning, we said, hey, we're probably coming back here. We like it. Let's get some. Let's get some stuff. Try to make this handy for the 4 or 5 days we're here, or whatever we're here for. Because they had a breakfast cocktail that had like just a bunch of whiskey and stuff in it. We're like, yeah, we'll take 4 of those. Just bring those, and we'll have it. And yeah, it all worked out. But it was.
That's funny.
I forgot just how big of a deal that was that week down there. Because they were hurt or pissed off. It was a lot of stuff that week. I mean,
I thought they were great to us.
They were great to us. They fixed everything they could fix from the previous week, and then they just didn't have any room. There was nowhere to put us.
That wasn't their fault.
No, and we're pretty low-key, whatever.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I didn't watch the game from the field. I couldn't see. My seat didn't have a view to the field.
I watched from the TV, and then when it got down near the end, I went out and watched on the field.
I was a little annoyed.
Yeah, but Avery, we're fixing that. We're getting us a Waffle House, baby. It's going to change the game.
It's called French Press. My only annoyance with that whole thing was that there were 4 media seats that could see the field, and I did not get one of those.
Yeah.
And I was a little pissed off. It was the one time I really kind of wanted to pull rank a little bit.
Traditional media.
They went straight traditional media. It was all newspapers.
Yeah.
And I'm just kind of like,
it's like, hey, it's not the way this beat works.
yeah, I'm just kind of hitting the table a little bit, but it was what it was.
Not the way this beat works.
But
and it was hot though, and
it was brutal.
we were in that little air conditioned
We
deal.
had beer.
They had beer in there.
Yeah,
I was like, hey, I'm good.
It's fine.
Okay, would you like for us to find you a seat? No, I'm good.
Yeah,
Right
in
here.
game 3, I walked back over to the field in the bottom of the 8th.
I did
and
too.
said, okay, got 2 innings. I'll walk back over. And because
Well,
at
that
that
was the
time
night-
it was only 6-4. 6-4. Yeah, it was 6-4. And then Purdzlock hit the triple, and it was obviously over at that point.
That was the night that I started
You
doing
were
the
counting.
countdown.
Yeah, you were doing the counting thing.
People hated me.
Oh, because they were so nervous.
Yeah. And I was like, if you think
And you
this-
were doing it from like 20.
Yeah.
It was innings to go. It's like halfway through that game.
Because you looked at me like, are you serious? I'm like, hey, why not?
You felt good about it.
Yeah, I knew they were winning.
Well, Lafayette was out of pitching. It was.
Yeah, Ole Miss was winning that game.
They had to win that bad boy in 2 to get
Yeah.
out of there.
Yeah. Their path to Omaha was winning the first.
It was
2
one of the better.
nights.
Actually, I mean, not to get on this necessarily, but it was one of the better. Sorry. It was one of the better coaching jobs by Mike and Carl the whole time, because that first game, they were trying to get Lafayette out on their front foot all the time. It was just saying, hey, they've got this little leg kick thing that Matt Deggs teaches, and it's a little strange, so let's throw a bunch of off speed in there. And then finally, after game 1, they said, these guys haven't seen fastballs all year. They're in a bad conference. They haven't seen this. Just throw the damn thing by them. Just do this. So in game 2 and game 3, it's just fastball, fastball, fastball. And because of that leg kick, it was screwing them up. They couldn't catch up to it, and Ole Miss scored enough to win the game. It was actually, that and Christian Trent just, by God, wasn't losing. But
No.
he might have been the best pitcher in the country at that point of the season. But
He was pretty dialed in.
yeah, and just cocky as hell. He was great. Anyway, any legs to the Ruggs thing? I don't know. Giving Lane credit, he reached out on Twitter, asked where he's at. Sure, why not? Look at it. The hell,
It's
all
so
good.
different now. It's great.
Yeah, he just saw a tweet. He went, well, where is he? Oh.
I love it because not to go down this path too far, but there are people on the beat who appear to be panicking, and I'm kind of enjoying it. People are like, do you have any access? Nope.
None.
Do you know anything? Not really. I'm having to dig deep, and a lot of the digs are resulting in complete emptiness. I mean, like I heard one name yesterday, and I'm not even putting it out because I have no other than reading it going, well, that makes sense, but I have nothing to connect it to. And so I'm like, I'll just wait, keep digging on it. But I find it, I don't know what it is. It's a tick in my personality or whatever. I find it more amusing than anything else right now.
I will spend 90 seconds on this. Thoughts on the women's basketball team? I know it's getting a lot of press because they got beat by essentially 52 nights in a row.
Yeah.
I don't know what kind of coach Yolette McCune is. She recruits really well. They signed the best class in the SEC. She's got at least 1 5-star coming in. Guys, there's no way to know yet. This program was in such a bad spot. They lost essentially every SEC level player when she was hired. It was a search that took forever. She was not the first choice, not the second choice. There was a lot going on here. This thing is such a rebuild that no matter what, you cannot judge her, get frustrated at her, or anything with this season. Gino Emma could not do any better at the moment with the roster she has together. And look, I'm sure they're sweet people. That's not my point, but they're not SEC basketball players on this team.
Right.
So it is what it is. You're going to have to chill out. You're going to have to give at least 1 more year and probably 2 before you have a judgment. It's just the way it is. They have no front court to speak of. They lost Valerie Nesbitt, their second leading scorer. There's no ability. Tennessee's the tallest team in the league, I think, and they just I mean, it would be like me trying to guard an SEC center. There's nothing I can do, no matter how you
I wouldn't
coach
like
me.
your chances.
That's my point. I mean, so I don't know. I mean, yeah.
You know more about it than I do.
I mean,
Archie's done a really good job covering it. Bless his heart, he's kind of running out of stuff to write about.
I get it.
Some little programming note. I've gotten several texts about it. Yes, we are taping Greatest Pod in the South. We are going to tape it on Sunday this week because Maddie Tate, Jay's daughter, is on a college visit this weekend where they're all out of town, and so Jay's not dialed into his studio and such. We're going to tape it on Sunday. We have a new sponsor. It's Automation and Control Systems, LLC. It's owned by Clay McNutt there in Baldwin, Mississippi. It's established in 2013. ACS is a complete electrical control systems solution provider and a Rockwell Automation recognized system integrator. So we're going to tell you a whole lot more about them over the course of the next year. They jumped in, and they're sponsoring Greatest Pod in the South, and we will be taping our first edition of 2020 on Sunday. That is the plan. We normally tape on Thursday afternoons, but Jay and Courtney and Maddie took off on Thursday for a weekend college visit, so we'll tape it on Sunday. This podcast is also brought to you by Bluff City Advisory Group, dedicated to building the future you desire. Founded in Memphis in 2019, their team is comprised of established and seasoned financial experts who came together to serve individuals and families of their beloved hometown. The firm is built on decades of wealth management experience, and they've seen it all. The financial advisors have a reputation for professional excellence, and their clients rely on their high level of confidence and integrity. So whether you need guidance on developing a financial plan, creating a customized executive benefits program for your business, or preparing a detailed asset allocation analysis, Bluff City Advisory will provide forward-thinking and cost-effective investment strategies customized to uniquely fit each client. Bluff City values providing quality advice, experience, and access to all their clients, and they invite an open dialogue beyond your annual review. They believe that everyone deserves financial security, no matter your level of wealth or financial goal. They will serve as an advocate and guide to grow a portfolio that is fruitful and sustainable for you. 901-365-3447 or email Ben, B-E-N, at bluffcityadvisory.com.
Ask on here that generally curious, why isn't OBJ's gift LSU players not considered a violation? Is it an example of NCAA hypocrisy? In theory, they say he has a previous relationship with the school when they do allow that kind of thing. Yeah. I mean, it's debatable whether that should be legal or not, but yes, that's completely legal.
I'm glad it is legal. I'm glad the kids are getting something.
Yeah, get a set of headphones.
Yeah,
from OBJ.
If he were giving it to recruits, you'd have an issue.
Oh, well, yeah, of course.
He's giving it to current players. They're already there. I'm glad they're getting stuff.
That's a good point. Why have y'all not gotten a member of Steel Panther on G-Pitch yet as a guest?
Great question.
That's a J question, though, isn't it?
Great question.
That's not your area.
No, but I've learned a lot about them.
Have you?
Yeah, I read their lyrics.
Is that on your is that on your Pandora now?
No.
Not yet?
It's not my thing, but
let's see. Neil, if offered $50,000 cash to ride to Houston for the game in a 15-passenger van with Yancey, Chuck, Chase, Ben, 40, Woken, Thamel, Kubelik, and Dellinger, what would you have made sure you had enough popcorn, or would you find another way? You also can't be on devices for the ride.
Kubelik and Ross are there?
Yeah, you're good.
Man.
You're good?
Yeah.
We'll just hang out and it'll be all right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Might get bloody, but yeah. I like Cole. Cole and I get along great.
Yeah.
I mean, I consider Ross a good friend, so
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd be.
Ross would bring some alcohol on the trip. We'd be fully refreshed.
Yeah. Cole wouldn't take a lot of bullshit.
I don't think so.
No.
Did you cover him?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah.
Confident in all your picks for the weekend? Anything you want to change?
Am I confident? Well, no, of course not. But no,
you are the winner unless I go essentially 3-0 the last 3 games. I am 3 games behind, and we have 3 differences of picks.
Oh, really?
Yeah. The last 3, we're the exact same.
Well, we still have the championship games in the Super Bowl to pick.
Oh, I didn't think about that. Okay, I was thinking it was gone because of football, because college is over.
No.
So we still have 3 more games after this.
Taking the distance.
Okay. Yeah, we picked the same thing on Saturday, both games. I think Sunday, both games, we have different, and then we have a different championship game simply because I knew I had to make one up somewhere and you were going to pick
You
LSU.
got Clemson covering.
Yeah, I had Clemson covering simply because, again, I've got to pick up something somewhere.
If there was one I don't feel good about, it's probably that one, just
Is
because
it
it's
really?
the championship, and, man, you just never know. But, boy,
Look,
that thing's
Clemson
going to
has
be
beaten the hell out of everybody for 3 months.
Clemson's going to fight crowd noise.
They are.
It's going to get loud.
Place will be a zoo Monday.
Think of a Saints game on steroids.
Yeah.
That's what that deal's going to be like.
Because I know a lot of times it's all corporate tickets, but this thing's still going to be 80% LSU.
Yeah, for sure.
They'll find ways. It is what it is.
On a Monday when no one's going to go to work,
Mm-hmm.
puppy kicks at 7. Think of Tiger Stadium if you put a roof on it.
Yeah. This is a media thing more than a golf thing. But I'll get your take on this. I don't think you've seen this.
Okay.
I'm reading from ESPN. An attorney for Patrick Reed, the golfer that always is whatever,
Yeah.
sent a cease and desist letter to Golf Channel analyst Brandel Chambly demanding he stop referring to the golfer as a cheater for his actions at a tournament in the Bahamas last month. Golf Week obtained the letter, in which attorney Peter Ginsburg wrote the purpose is, quote, to obtain assurance that you will refrain from any further dissemination, publication, or republication of false and defamatory statements concerning Mr. Reed, including any allegations that he cheated at the Hero World Challenge in the Bahamas. It's an interesting way I've never seen that before, but that's interesting.
That is interesting. If you're the guy at the Golf Channel, you've got to kick it up to legal and go, what do I do? How do we feel about this? Did he cheat?
He's a known cheater throughout his life. Everybody thinks he cheated over the course.
Did he cheat at that event?
Yes, they look like they look like he cheated. There's no doubt.
Then I'd double down and call him a cheater.
Would you?
Yes.
Well, look, you're not liable. You're not liable because there's video that, in theory, he broke a rule. Well, that's all that's necessary to call someone a cheater.
And he's also a public figure, so the standard is.
Yeah, you have to prove strict scrutiny, which means he did it. You knew he did it, and you did it with malicious intent when you called him that. You know what I mean? Like,
And by pointing it out.
I'm sorry, it has to be false,
Yeah.
and it has to have malicious intent.
This might be their way of saying now, if you continue to do it, you are doing it with malicious intent.
You made your point, so stop. Let's move on. I guess in some ways you just send the letter as an attorney because you go, hey, what's the worst that could happen? The same thing that's been going on anyway. I mean, maybe you win. I don't know. I mean, for Patrick Reed, I guess that's my point. Doesn't really hurt anything, does it?
If I'm probably the people that own that run that channel, I'm probably going, hey, let's just kind of roll on.
Yeah, it says Chambly has been a vocal critic of Reed in the aftermath of a rules violation in the third round of the tournament, in which the golfer was assessed a 2-shot penalty for improving his line of play when he took 2 practice strokes in a waste area. Among things he said on the air was that, quote, to defend what Patrick Reed did is defending cheating, is defending breaking the rules. Chambly says the letter accuses flippant and reckless comments. My comments were weighed heavily before they came out of my mouth, and they were meant to address the larger issue of what I believe to be the decaying traditions of the game. The game has always had at its core the belief that self-governing gives the game its appeal, and as much as we play the game for camaraderie, the self-governing tradition is slowly being replaced by a catch-me-if-you-can attitude. I think the whole golf world was watching how the Reed incident was treated, including the young men and women who will soon be on their respective tours. If you catch me, if you can attitude pervades junior golf. 10 years later, it pervades professional golf, and that concerns me, and it was the origin of my remarks.
That's fair. It is part of what makes it the quote, gentleman's game, and I don't mean that as a sexist thing.
No, I know, yeah.
But that you obey the rules. You point out, hey, I committed a stroke penalty here. Like when I played that round, I don't know the rules. Like you were like, oh, that's a penalty. I'm like, that's a penalty?
Yeah.
I thought it was interesting. I wasn't like offended or whatever.
Yeah.
Of course, I wasn't trying to win.
Yeah. So I don't know. Just media-wise, that's fairly interesting. So more pod on Monday. For back still going on with a normal schedule. Enjoy the NFL games. We'll bring anything to you NCAA or not NCAA. Oh God. Oh Jesus.
Shut your mouth.
Yeah. Sorry. Coach related over the weekend and more. So appreciate you guys hanging out this morning, and we'll talk to you again soon.